So there we go, training number 2, all shaked and baked, all pretty new hardware and everything. I think Yahooban was confused. He wanted to know what was wrong with it. I haven't got the one out of the bus yet, buddy. I just built a whole new tranny to drop off, and by building a completely different gearbox that I know worked, I know this box had no problems. I just took it apart and freshened it up today. And this eliminates any question whether there's an issue with the gearbox or a synchro hub. The problem is trying to fix the one that's in the bus is after looking at this one in the jig, it's really not possible to do what it's doing. This is first gear and it's fixed on the shaft. This is the other one that's on the opposite shaft. So this gear engages like this, and what's happening, the gear is not going all the way in. When you apply the power, it makes the gear pop off the little bit of gear that it's engaged in. So a lot of times what happens is it'll break the gear, or it'll round these little dogs off in the synchro hub. And more than likely what's causing this issue is this is what we call a nose cone right here, and this is what bolts to the front of the transmission here. And the way a Volkswagen works, let me pull this out, set the camera down for a minute. You guys, just a little greasy, trying to clean it up a little bit. Already got cleaned up. So anyway, this is the front of the transmission. And this is what we call the hockey stick, and it's called a hockey stick for obvious reason. You know, it sort of looks like a hockey stick, but this stick goes into these rods or detents or levers, and as you pull the shifter, that's what, I don't want to pull this off the barrel, but that's what pulls these little rods. And reverse, first and second, third and fourth. As you move the shifter, this thing moves up and selects a different arm to pull on. Well, what happens in a bus is the angle of this arm is different. The location's slightly bent. So with a bus, what happens is a lot of times it won't go all the way in. It'll be just barely on here and slip off or not engaged fully. So it could be an arm adjustment. Or it could be where the coupler is mounted onto this part of the arm, or it could be the shifter. It could be 3 different things. But when you put the tranny in the jig, basically what you're doing is putting it into a case that's exposed, and you shift each gear and run it through the gears. And you're making sure that the shift fork, pile of tranny parts here. This is a slider here. Let me find a fork. Here's your fork. This is what's on the shaft that I just showed you. It's attached. This fork is attached to that shaft, and as you pull it, it moves in or out. And the fork rides in this groove here on the slider, and then it pulls it like this and swaps the gear. So first, second, or third, or fourth. There's 2 of these sliders, and there's 2 of these forks, and then reverse has its own separate fork that's you can adjust the linkage, but you can't adjust the actual fork. So these adjustments are set in the jig, and they have a set screw which is very tight. This doesn't move very rarely. Sometimes in a race car you'll get somebody that bangs the gear and it might move slightly on the shaft. So rather than waiting to get that tranny in a day or 2 or next week or whenever the guy gets around to it, I figured I'd go ahead and build this one. That way when he drops that one off, he can take this one. We know that it's perfect. There's no question about it. And I'll just take the one that I built down the scooters, and we'll take it apart and do an autopsy on it and see what's wrong. But chances are if they drove it any at all and had it jump out of gear, it's going to have issues now. If because these things have to lock together. And when they start blowing out, you know, actually the tranny drives on these little flanks, these little knobs, not on the gear. So the gear gives you the ratio, but the car is actually locked to the slider to the synchro hub. Once that starts blowing apart, you know, you got issues. So yeah, I didn't mean to confuse you, buddy. It's for mainly Yahooban. Wanted to explain that to you. That's a whole nother tranny. So yep, that's a much better tranny. That's a 412 ring of pinion. It's what you'd consider a freeway flyer in a bus. You know, it's ideal. And it's got a 12-volt bell housing. It's a 68 tranny, much later. So he should be much happier. And it's even got a Bifa diff, which is 2 extra spider gears added. So yeah, tomorrow maybe we can work on some of our stuff, get these control arms done, get that core support and firewall painted. That's what I'm hoping on. But yeah, I didn't get to make a whole lot of videos today because it was really packed down there. He was busy, and helped him pull a motor out of a customer car with 48s and a bunch of stuff on it. And so we did that in the morning, and then he helped me with that tranny. You know, I wanted him to help me out step by step, so I didn't overlook anything. You know, you never know. But it's pretty basic. After you do it a couple times, it's pretty you know, it just stacks on one way basically. And there's only a few shims that you can actually change the stack height with. So it's not like there's a whole lot of things that you can make a mistake on in there. Is why it's so puzzling. It's very frustrating, but you know, anytime you work for the public, you got to give them the benefit of the doubt. And you know, parts store's been pretty good to me. I don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth by giving them a tranny that might or might not be my fault. So the best thing to do is just give them another tranny. And you know, I would like to find nothing in the other tranny, but you never know. And hopefully this one works. You know, I hope that he puts it in and it works fine, and it was just a mistake I made in the other one, and we can just move on. So we'll deliver that in the morning. And Andrea's going to Ocala, and Hans got the mini bikes pulled up there, 2 of them. So maybe we'll go for a ride in the woods tomorrow if he gets those running. That's the plan anyway. Those are some big wheels trail bikes. You know, they got a pretty soft ride, got some big tires on them. And we'll take the camera and go out for a woods ride in those. So if he gets them running, he says he will. So got the rest of the shocks to put on the Bronco tomorrow there. So I just lost the whole day doing this tranny, but I think it's the best thing, you know. So that's where I'm at with that. And that's what was over there. So now I got another hole there. And that was the tranny that we just put over there. So I got 2 more trannies of my own to build. I took that out of my private stash. And so there we go. I don't like selling swing axles anyway, because there's just a lot of stuff, you know, to put one of these on. You know, you got the axle tube, and then you got the axle, and then the bearings, and it's a pain in the ass. So I'd rather build it and install it. That way if there's an issue, you know, I can cover my own labor, and nobody's you know, any worse for the wear. But this guy will have to put it in twice now, and we don't guarantee the labor. Obviously, you know, I'm not getting full smack for it anyway. I get a small portion, and then the parts store marks it up, and then you know, it goes from there. So I'm just the first guy in the food chain. So all right guys, so hopefully this one works, you know. I'm pretty confident it will. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get some more videos up. I know I was a little lax on the videos today. Normally I do some more videos down at Scooters, but it just wasn't that kind of day. It was really busy. So, but anyway, we'll talk to you guys tomorrow, and you guys have a good one. Good morning, good night, whatever it might be right now. I know Ziggy's probably getting up, and you know, Neil might push that record button. I didn't see a video from Neil today. So I missed my buddy from the other side of the pond. I saw PDQ, got some stripes on the Camaro, that's cool. And yeah, not a whole lot out there, didn't see a whole lot of videos. But I'm gonna go check, upload this one, and see if there's anything to watch. I think I might have saw one from Mill Rick. I'll check him out, and yeah, maybe some of the other guys will pop up. So till tomorrow, guys, have a good one.